Hi BookTube, Lynette here, and today's video I'm going to do an update of a video I did back in 2022 talking about the number of series I have. I will leave that original series linked up in the cards for you so you can go back and revisit. Now, I'm not sure about the accuracy of that because that was done on paper and pen, so I'm not quite sure how accurate it actually was. I have since used a different method, and I'll talk through that in a moment, for collating the information, which should make it a little more accurate. There are some inaccuracies which I've discovered in the new way of doing it, but they are easily corrected just by making more room. So what have I been doing to figure out all the series figures and stats and everything that I have here? Well, a couple of years ago I downloaded a spreadsheet. I bought a spreadsheet from another YouTuber called Ali. Her channel I think now is called With Ali. At the time she was called Hardback Hoarder. She has an Etsy shop where she sells her spreadsheets that is also called With Ali, and it was initially a tracker, and she set up some various options for tracking series, and I decided, with Ali's permission, I did ask her would I be able to take the spreadsheet apart, split it down into different sections, so that it wasn't one large item that I was going into all the time. And she said, as long as you are not selling it for your own profit, or making it public otherwise, then yes, you can absolutely do what you like with it within your own system for your own personal use, which is what I've done. So the spreadsheet had trackers, various habit trackers, it had series trackers, it was tracking your reads, it gave you stats, and like I say, there were 3 different ways to track series. So I have this spreadsheet and I have deleted all the pages on all the tabs that are not related to series, so that I just have a series spreadsheet. I have made use of all 3 series trackers that she set up for different reasons, and it was to try to make things easier for me in a way, because I wanted to keep some of the stats separate from each other. However, I'm just going to talk about them in one go. It's made it easier for me to pull the stats together, because I've got series that I've started, series that I've finished, series that I own a book but haven't started yet, and also I want to kind of use the spreadsheet to keep track of the series as I go through the year to see how many I'm reading. So yeah, I've got some notes here, so I'm going to be looking down quite a bit, and I've got the spreadsheet pulled up on screen. Now, I'm not going to screen share. I'm not quite sure how to do that, and voiceovers and everything. I still haven't figured that part out. So I am just going to be looking down at it. Now, please note that some of the numbers around numbers of books with series that I've started and finished are not quite accurate. This is one thing I need to fix, because I know definitely 2 of the series that are in the saga section I hadn't left enough room, and I think it's somewhere in the region of 20 books that I don't have space for, that haven't been allocated, but I wanted to get this filmed before I put it off any longer, and I haven't updated that. So please take those numbers that, you know, there needs to be some update either way. I have separated the series into separate types. So I have graphic novels and mangas, which I don't read very much of. I have duologies, trilogies, quadrilogies and quintets are one series together, and then anything that has 6 stories or more is listed under sagas. Now, when I say 6 stories or more, I don't just mean full-length novels. If there are novellas in the series or additional stories that are not included in the whole numbers, so they're listed as book 0.5, book 9.5, book 23.5 in the case of one series, I have included them on the spreadsheet, and because they're part of the stories, they might just be little side installments into that world, just to give you a little glimpse. You know, they might just be, because with romance you have a happy ever after, you do get a happy for now at the end of the main story, and sometimes an author will give you a little snippet of their life in the future where maybe something's happened. You know, not every relationship is perfect. They have their ups and downs, and it just shows normal life. And I like exploring those, and I like to include those when I'm reading through a series. So anything that is 6 books plus, please note that isn't just main stories. That does include any novellas or short stories from that series as well. So let's look at stats. So on my shelves, and by shelves I am talking audio, and physical shelves, I have a total of 764 series. There are 162 that are listed under saga. There are 121 that are either quadrilogies or quintets, 130 trilogies, 52 duologies, and 2 graphic novels manga. I have DNF'd 292 of those 764 series. Those are some big numbers. For series that I have not started, there are 241. There are 1,468 stories across those 241 series. That is, again, made up of 97 listed under saga, 25 with 5 books, 35 with 4 books, 56 trilogies, and 28 duologies. I should have said across the whole series, for series that I've started, finished, and not yet started, not including DNFs, there is a total of 3,206 books. Maybe 3,230, somewhere in that region. Let's get into the big numbers now, and let's talk about the series, because this is made up of series that I've picked up since 2011. Now, a couple of them, the series, are rereads, and they were read before 2011 as well, but if I've reread them since 2011, they've been included here. There are books that I read before 2011 that I have no idea what they are, where they came from, what they were called, and this is part of, I've got people in my real life who are laughing at me because of the amount of tracking that I'm doing with my reading now, between the spreadsheets I have set up, between Storygraph, between keeping a reading tracker, a physical journal, but it's because I have all those stories that I read in my teens and 20s that I no longer have the books because I got rid of them. I had no record of them other than them being on my shelves, and I've lost that information. So this is why I am tracking so much. But part of the tracking is then discovering all these stats. I would say interesting, but they're not. they're scary. They are interesting as well. Some people find them interesting. Anyway, since September 2011, I have picked up to read 523 different series. I have decided not to finish 292 of those. I have completed 134, and I have 97 in progress. I have read 1,237 books. 342 of those were in series that I have DNF'd. I have 501 books left to read, but that's not fully accurate. There's probably nearer 530 because some series are ongoing, and with some series there is no published number of possible titles. So in the case of the In Death series by J.D. Robb, we're up to 60 something books, and at the moment, as far as I know of, there is no end in sight for that series. So that's ongoing for quite a while. So let's talk about the ones that I actually have finished or have ongoing. So there are 2 graphic novel series on here. One of those is Heartstopper. Yes, Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. The other is Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. Both of them are up to date, but both of them have new instalments due this year. So I definitely have 2 more books to read there. Saga, I don't know. I haven't seen anything saying how many there are. But Heartstopper, the 6th and final volume that comes out this year, like I say, that is the final volume. So that would be then add to the finished numbers, but they're still ongoing. At the moment, there's 16 volumes across both, and I've read them all. In duologies, there are 29 duologies, of which 23 have been finished, leaving 6 in progress. There are 56 books planned, 50 read and 6 unread. So, you know, I mean, I could easily finish this. It's ridiculous. There is one of the duologies where I have the book on my shelf. I could finish it quite easily. Maybe that will come later in the year. In terms of trilogies, I have 74 trilogies that I've picked up since 2011. 49 are finished, which leaves 25 in progress. 9 series, I have the next or final book on my shelves. And there are 225 planned books across the trilogies. 178 of them I have read, which leaves 47 on the TBR. There are 61 quadrilogies or quintets that I've picked up, finished 38 of those, with 23 left in progress, and 7 of those I have the next or final book on my shelves that I could pick up and easily read. There are 284 books across those series, of which 229 I have read and 55 left on the TBR. I have 65 sagas on my list of sagas. I have finished 24 of those, leaving 41 in progress. There are 19 series that I have a book or multiple books on my shelves that I could continue. At this point in time, there are around 803 planned books. Slightly more because of the errors I've made, and the errors are in the sagas. With 422 books read across those sagas, 381 left to read. Those are some scary numbers. Those are some very scary numbers. I am trying to make a dent in those, and it is going to happen naturally. So I think this is coming out after my March TBR. So if you've seen my March TBR, then you'll know that something I'm going to continue to do this year is every other month I'm going to prioritise reading books from series. There are some that I'm naturally going to want to get to the next book because I'm looking forward to it coming out, or I've picked it up in a previous month and I've really enjoyed it. However, there are some that I am going to need some help with. So to help me prioritise those books, what I have done is on the spreadsheet with the series that I'm continuing, I have gone through and either marked in green the books that I have on my shelves where I can continue, and I've marked in purple the books that are available in Kindle Unlimited to help me continue. There are going to be months where it's going to be difficult for me to pick the book that I want to read. In some cases, I will have picked the book already, but a couple of years ago now, discovered a shop on Etsy that sells bookish items. I cannot remember the name of the shop off the top of my head. I will put it in the box box down below. But I bought some bookish items, and one of those is a To Be Read jar. It's just a little glass jar with To Be Read. As you can see, there are contents of the jar. What I have done is I've gone through every series where I have the next book, or the next book is available on Kindle Unlimited, and I have written down the title of that book, the title of the series, and the author of the series, and written that down so that I can randomly choose. And my intention is, when I need to pick a series to continue, I am going to delve into this and I'm going to pick out a series. Now, I might try and do this monthly to try and just, even though I'm going to have a month where I can continue series, I might do this in the off months as well, just to try and keep the momentum ticking with that. Some of these in here I know, so like Still the One by Carrie Elks is in here. So some of those I know that I might naturally have already read it. In that case, what I will do, if the series isn't finished, I will move on to the next one that I need to pick up in that series. But it is just to keep me going with those, and to give me some kind of incentive. As I start a series and the next book in the series is available to me, that will then be added to this little pot. I have a supply of these beautifully pinkish coloured paper, and yeah, so that is my series update. Because of having this spreadsheet now, I feel it's going to be a lot easier for me to accurately update my progress through the year. So this might be something I revisit halfway through the year, or it might be something that I revisit just once a year, just to give you an update. I shall see how I feel as the year goes on. But yes, wish me luck, because I want to get those 97 series down this year. I have no set number that I want to get it down by, because I know that naturally I am going to be starting more series, adding more books into the list. I have to do some updates to those figures with the total number of books, so that's going to happen at some point. But yeah, it would just be really good, because I've written down those stats that I've just read out to you. It would be really good to be able to look back at that and see how far we've come through the year. Yeah, wish me luck. How good are you at starting series and continuing them and finishing them? Are you a series binger? Do you wait for series to finish before you read them all, or do you just hope that you'll remember which series you're in the middle of as time goes along? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you all in the comments. If you have enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye.